In the headlines, Defense Chief assures Nigerians that 2023 elections will hold amid worsening insecurity across the country. Flood kills 9, displaces over 6,000 across 11 local government areas in Kano State. Senate probes 1.7 trillion naira security votes to 797 agencies. And on the foreign scene, Kenya presidential election underway as candidates pledge for peaceful vote. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, has assured Nigerians that the 2023 elections will hold. Speaking during a media parley on Tuesday at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, General Irabo said the military will do everything possible to ensure that nothing stops the poll from holding. The Defense Chief also reiterated the commitment of the military to protecting the democratic ideals in Africa's most populous nation, adding that the military's covenant to protect Nigeria's democracy has not changed. The parley is to solicit the support of the media towards tackling the security challenges in the country. Meanwhile, General Irabo said the terrorists behind the attack on the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, have been arrested. He said the criminals were arrested in collaboration with other security agencies. About 40 people were killed when the gunmen stormed the church on June 5th, opened fire on the congregation, and also detonated explosives. Meanwhile, troops of Operation Thunderstrike of the Nigerian Army and that of Operation Puff Adder of the Nigeria Police have intensified patrols and operations along the Kaduna-Abuja highway and surrounding communities. Speaking during an assessment tour of the ongoing security operations on the highway, the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, said contrary to insinuations that motorists have abandoned the highway because of insecurity, more vehicles are still plying the road as a result of the presence of security operatives in the area. Arwan also debunked reports that the convoy of the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 12 was attacked along the Kaduna-Abuja highway last week, adding that the incident took place between Kaduna and Nasarawa state borders. Other locations visited by the Commissioner are Rijana and Katari villages, which are flashpoint areas on the highway. A youth support group is advocating for mass participation of youth in the electoral process with a view to ensuring the emergence of credible leadership that will address contemporary and existential challenges. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the group also canvassed for special recognition of youth in governance. The report.
The youth here say they are worried about the current governance trajectory in the country, which puts the youth demography on the edge, and want to change the narrative by advocating mass mobilization and participation of their contemporaries in the democratic process.
Tell the youth that it is time to come out, it is time to participate, it is time to be fully involved in politics, because we are the future of this nation. The future is in our hands, and what we do with it matters a lot. And that is why we are galvanizing the youth to come out there. It is time for us to take the change, take the bull by the horn. It is time to be relevant as youth, because we are the future, we are the tomorrow. We hold Nigeria is on our shoulder. So what we do with it actually matters.
The reason they say is that the youth in the country must show adequate commitment and capacity to push for a new political order, expressing concerns about the excessive monetization of the polity, a development that puts the youths on the edge.
We want a situation where when you have a Minister of Youth and Sport, it's actually a Minister of Youth and Sport that can deliver, not a 70 years old man being a Minister of Youth and Sport or a 60 years old man. That's one. Two, we can also have state ministers. And where the youths are, where we also know, I know we can also come up, we can also have young ministers of the economy, young ministers of finance and the rest of them. We know we have youth in my category who can actually play there.
With the enthusiasm around the next political dispensation projected to witness massive participation of youths, as the rising number of registered voters suggests. Many of them are optimistic of a brighter political future. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still talking politics, National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Adamu, has raised concerns over the prolonged strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Now, ASU has been on strike since February 14th, where the APC National Chairman called on all stakeholders, including parents, to prevail on the union to end the strike. Musa Luka reports.
The recent comment by Minister of State for Labor and Empowerment and Bola Tinubu's presidential campaign spokesperson, Festus Keyamo, on the strike raised dust. APC National Chairman Senator Adamu Abdullahi appreciated the concerns of parents toward the prolonged ASU strike, hoping that the party will push for agreement.
This party is a party in government, and we more than appreciate the concerns of parents and our children who have been out of school for quite some time now. I do know and I appreciate the effort government is making, and it is my hope that ASU will come to reality with government so that we'll have a meeting point and bring solace to our children and their parents.
Abdullahi also commented on the threat by some National Assembly members to impeach the president.
It's a very sorry development, yes. And as you can see, that is no longer on. It's no longer on. Yeah, it's the National Assembly expect this heat. It happens everywhere, in every democracy.
The chairman, however, believes the party is positioned to win election in 2023. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, some aggrieved commercial motorcycle operators in the Federal Capital Territory on Monday morning protested against the impounding of their motorcycles. The task force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration had stormed the Goza area along the airport road in Abuja to clamp down on the operators. The operators, it was gathered, blocked the road in protest and caused heavy traffic for motorists plying the road. A commercial bus driver who pleaded anonymity said FCT task force seized the motorcycles after the operators failed to adhere to several warnings against operating on the expressway. The FCT police spokesperson Josephine Ade confirmed that men from the command had been deployed to the area, in addition to those of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, to enforce the ban and forestall any security breach. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Sokoto State Command, has impounded 35 unregistered motorcycles. The sector commander, Kabiru Nadabu, said the arrest was in line with the directive by the federal government that unregistered motorcycles should not be allowed to ply the roads. He also said the enforcement would be extended to areas prone to bandits' attack. The commander promised that the motorcycles will be released to the owners once they complete registration. At least 9 people have been confirmed dead and over 6,000 others displaced by floods across 11 local government areas of Kano State. While visiting the recent disaster in Ajingi local government area, the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Sare Jilli, said government is still locating other areas that are yet to be reported. Idris Jibrin reports that property worth over 500 million naira has been lost to the disaster.
Ibrahim Bala is one of the recent flood victims in Ajingi local government area of Kano State, whose 10-year-old daughter was killed, house and farmland destroyed after a 40-hour uninterrupted rainfall. He says he has no home, no farmland at the moment. It was unfortunate. It's really sad. We experienced rainfall for over 40 hours, and I lost my daughter. I lost my home. I lost my farmland. As I'm talking to you now, I do not have anything. I don't know what to do. We are only calling on government to continue to assist us. Otherwise, we don't know where to put ourselves. As for the record before the State Emergency Management Agency, 6,417 people were affected by the flood, which also killed 9 and injured 9.
We had Kilu local government 306 with no casualty, Rano local government 62 victims with 1 casualty and 2 were injured. Lambata local government, we had 1,175 and 3 were injured and 3 were dead and 5 were injured, including 3 small children with their mother carrying 9-month pregnancy.
Recently, the Ajingiloku Government Council confirmed that over 500 people were displaced by the flood, while 3 others have been killed.
We experienced the flood disaster in this local government, which resulted in the deaths of 3 people. There is Toranki, Karamakama, Ajingi, almost all the Ajingi local government are affected. To say rather than to thank the government of Kano State and ES for the same. What brought this local government. We have nothing to say. We never experienced this.
Although investigation is still ongoing to identify other areas, but the State Emergency Management Agency is calling on residents to stay away from areas vulnerable to flood attack and report any incidents to the agency for immediate assistance. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And the last batch of about 94 pilgrims and officials who performed this year's Hajj exercise from Kaduna has returned home after spending at least 6 weeks in Mecca and Medina. The public relations officer of the Kaduna Pilgrims Welfare Board, Alhaji Salisu Ancho, said about 2,500 pilgrims were airlifted back home. Among them was the executive secretary of the agency. Speaking to newsmen shortly after his arrival at the Kaduna International Airport on Sunday, the executive secretary expressed delight over the successful conclusion of the 2022 Hajj operations. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come on the news, persistent increase in the price of eggs in Kaduna. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now, a recap of our top stories. Defense Chief assures Nigerians that the 2023 elections will hold amid the worsening insecurity across the country. And 9 people have been killed and over 6,000 displaced across 11 local government areas in Kano State. Now, in other news, the Zamfara state government is seeking global support in the areas of capacity building of its health personnel, equipment, and disease surveillance. Governor Bello Muhammad made the appeal while playing host to stakeholders in the health sector in Gusau, Zamfara state capital. The report.
The visit to Zamfara State, according to the stakeholders, is to promote community engagement with traditional and religious leaders, as well as to mobilize communities to embrace health interventions that are life-saving for children, women, and vulnerable persons in the society. The stakeholders said it is imperative for Zamfara State government to work with other development partners in the state to boost community confidence and trust to improve acceptance of health intervention projects like routine immunization coverages, among others.
A group of partners, Chigiri Foundation, Solina, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, WHO, UNICEF, and several others, including other government agencies, are invited in that partnership to work with state governments like here in Zamfara, to work with traditional leaders to boost the confidence of communities in demanding for essential services, essential commodities that can save lives. That's what financial resources are one element, but there is also a lot of social capital that we have to harness. We have seen political capital being deployed in Zamfara State in terms of just mobilizing communities, despite all the challenges that had preceded this period. What we're here for is to mobilize all forms of capital, whether it's social capital, political capital, but also leveraging on what the state is bringing and what other partners are going to bring.
The Chief of Staff Government House Zamfara, Ibrahim Sulaiman, who received the team on behalf of Governor Bello Muhammad, described the visit as apt, saying it is coming at a time when the state is facing insecurity and other challenges. He seized the opportunity to seek the support of the stakeholders and other development partners on capacity building to safeguard lives of citizens in the state.
You are coming at this time, like I said, it's very apt. It's such a time when we are facing challenges of insecurity. Challenges of insecurity are media and multifaceted. You are coming this very timely, and we are not going to put so much pressure on you, but you understand our situation, and that's why.
The group of health partners are expected to deploy social, political capital, and financial resources to intervene in the routine immunization coverages on polio in Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states in northwest Nigeria.
And the Kwara State government has warned farmers in the state against commercializing farm inputs distributed to them. The director, Busari Isiaka, gave the warning during a press conference in Ilorin. The report.
The Kwara State government has warned farmers in the state against commercializing farm inputs distributed to them. The director, Kwara State Coordinator, Busari Isiaka, gave the warning during a press conference in Ilorin. The director said the warning became imperative in order to ensure that the inputs are used judiciously. He said that there have been reported cases of beneficiaries selling their packages at a giveaway price instead of putting the inputs to good use. At least 6,000 crop and livestock farmers in Kwara State have benefited from the first round of government and World Bank-enabled support along agricultural value chains.
Without mincing words, the Kwara State Federal Cares has so far provided relief to 6,000 beneficiaries across all 16 LGAs in the state within the first 6 months of implementation. A good turn, they say, deserves another. We have to give His Excellency a thunderous round of applause for not letting Kwara farmers down. Remember that this project will span 24 months. We still have 18 months left, which will subsequently come in 3 phases. On behalf of my team, the working team, I find it necessary to avow that by the time the 24-month time matures, the governor will have provided relief to about 20,000 indigent farmers who are victims of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. It is necessary to emphasize that the agricultural items distributed must be used judiciously by the beneficiaries to the satisfaction of the benefactor. As a result of this, we warn the farmers against commercializing the items. Both the input and asset items must be used and maintained for the purpose they were designed for. In the past and in other related agricultural programs, there have been cases of beneficiaries selling their packages Immediately after receiving them, you must not follow suit.
The Fadama ND Cares program is an agricultural invention scheme aimed at increasing food security and safe functioning of food supply chains in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And an increase in the price of feeds, insecurity, activities of middlemen, and cost of diesel have all been identified as factors responsible for the persistent increase in the price of eggs in the market. Poultry farmers in Kaduna say unless government intervenes to save poultry farms from collapse, there will be shortage of eggs in the market in no distant future. The report.
Eggs are naturally rich in vitamins B2, B12 and D. They also contain vitamin A and a number of other vitamins. Eggs are also essential in the growth of children who require them on a daily basis to optimal growth. However, in recent times, most families are gradually skipping this vital requirement due to the price increase. Musa Bala is the chairman Poultry Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State. He attributes the hike in egg price to cost of feed and other poultry necessities.
We need to buy the day-old chick. A day-old pullet or chick that we used to buy at 100 naira is now up to 650 naira. A bag of feed of 25 kg that we used to buy at 3,000 is now 7,000, 8,000.
While the farmers cite insecurity and activities of middlemen as responsible for the cost of production, they also want the government to subsidize the feeds.
Sometimes you will see somebody will buy egg from us at the rate of 1,500 and be selling at 1,008. Or you buy from us 1,600 and be selling at 1,900. There are places that people even sell egg at 2,000 naira. One of the biggest challenges we're facing now, of course, like any other citizen of Nigeria, is the fear of insecurity. It affects my farmers seriously. Some of the farmers have to even abandon their farms because most poultry farms are situated outside town. We have cases of attack, 1 or 2 or 3 farms or more than. I'm just giving you the, but that's not the number.
So we're appealing to the state government, the federal government should try as much as possible to subsidize, especially this feed is one of the most important things. You buy feed today. 2 years ago, I was making more profit than now. 2 years ago, when a bag of feed was 2,700. Today, a bag of feed is 6,400.
According to them, if the government doesn't intervene, many poultries in Kaduna State may collapse.
In the eventuality of farm continue to collapse, we will be facing a lot of shortages of egg that is needed for proper growth of children and the provision of protein to almost every Nigerian.
The farmers further call on government to help them access their farms by improving security, especially in the outskirts of the city where most of their farms are located. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Senate, through its Standing Committee on Public Accounts, has begun a probe into the over 1.7 trillion naira allocated via service-wide votes to federal agencies from 2017 to 2021. Chairman of the committee, Matthew Orogbidi, who made this known during the meeting of the committee, said beneficiary government agencies needed to give explanations on how they utilize the fund. He added that service-wide votes were a disbursement of a shortfall in capital and overheads. The chairman also ordered the acting accountant general of the Federation, Okoliabo Silva, who appeared before the committee to submit details of disbursements of service-wide votes as quickly as possible. Now for a look at the foreign scene, where Kenyans are voting on Tuesday to select the successor to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Voters started queuing before dawn, eager to have their say over who will run the country for the next 5 years. Delays and logistical problems have been reported in some places, but in general, the process appears smooth. The vote follows an intense campaign dominated by debates about living costs, unemployment, and corruption. The frontrunners for the president are former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and current Deputy President William Ruto. The outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta is backing his former foe, Mr. Odinga, after a falling out with his own deputy. Now for a look at sports, where Inter Milan have terminated the contract of Alexis Sanchez by mutual consent. After joining Inter from Manchester United in 2019, the 33-year-old made 109 appearances across all competitions for the club and managed to score 20 goals. The Chilean is now set for a fresh start in League One after a mixed spell in Serie A with the club. Sanchez helped Inter lift the Scudetto in the 2020-2021 season and also picked up the Supercoppa Italia and Coppa Italia winners' medals last term. However, the Chile international made just 7 starts in Serie A in the 2021-2022 campaign as he fell down the squad pecking order under Simone Inzaghi. Manchester United target Benjamin Sesko has joined RB Leipzig in a deal worth €24 million. The 19-year-old striker, who has caught the eye at Red Bull Salzburg, will join the Bundesliga side next season. Chelsea and Real Madrid were also linked with the 19-year-old, but he will instead move to Germany in the summer of 2023. Sesko has agreed a 5-year contract with Leipzig starting in 2023, becoming the latest player to make the move from Salzburg. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.